everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chai, Coffee, and Customs, a podcast about third culture kids for third culture kids, focusing on immigration, third culture experiences, moving countries, um, and just who you are as. Oh, wow! I did. and all.
And who you are. This is Batman talking.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I should redo that or keep it.
Keep it. It'll be fun.
Oh gosh. And who we are as third culture kids. I feel like I've said third culture kids a lot, so I'm going to move on from that. Today, I have a very special guest, and it is weird because we spend 24/7 together. But today, we have Vignesh. To confuse the audience because we had Vignesh last week as well.
You only have Vignesh as your guest.
We only invite guests named Vignesh.
So if
That's
you're
true.
a Vignesh, please
Comment and let
contact,
us know.
subscribe.
Let us know if you want to be part of the podcast. So for those of you who may not know, Vignesh is my husband, but he has his own identity as well. So I will let you talk a little bit about yourself.
Hello. My name is Vignesh. I'm her husband.
Oh my God, you guys stop
I have my own identity.
My wife says so.
My wife says so.
And she let him talk.
What is it that you want me to share with the
I guess
audience?
since it's a podcast about third culture kids, maybe a little bit about your journey as a third culture kid. We're in Canada, so where are you from?
I'm from Bangalore, Karnataka, which is in India, and studied in Canada and got a job in Canada. And right now, I've been in this country for over 13 years.
Oh, wow. How old were you when you first came to Canada?
I was 18 when I
And
moved
did you
here.
move to Toronto or?
Yeah, actually, I moved to Ottawa first, and then stayed there for a year, and then moved to Toronto.
Nice. I guess before we go deeper into your journey as a third culture kid, um, do you notice any cultural differences between you and me? Even though I'm also technically from Bangalore,
Mhm.
was there anything you noticed when you first met?
Yeah, you seemed a lot more interested and wanting to be a part of the Canadian culture, and I was very hell bent on holding on to my Indian culture as is. So I don't know if a lot of people can relate to this, but when you move abroad, you, or rather, when I was in Bangalore, I would listen to a lot of English music or music from this part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved to Canada, it became the complete opposite, where I started listening to Tamil music, and I
You're
started
telling me
listening
you
to.
never used to listen to Tamil music in Bangalore?
No, I used to, but it used to be one of those situations where, because you hear it in the radio, you hear it in like auto rides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or Kannada songs, sorry, shouldn't say that. But here, when you come back and you try to cling on to the culture that you were part of, right? Like from where we are from, grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Until you realize it's not. And yeah,
So,
I did notice that you seem to be a lot more welcoming of Canadian culture, whereas I used to stick to, or rather, I used to trust in a lot of people who, let's say they're from Bangalore, or let's say they are Tamil. Then I would often kind of align myself with them and rather be friends with them. I did obviously try to be friends with everybody here because that's part of the reason why you migrate and move.
yeah.
But yeah.
What was growing up in Bangalore like?
Oh, it was fun. It was really fun.
You were in Bangalore your whole life basically before you
Yeah.
came here.
Yeah, and Part of the reason I think it was fun is because we didn't have the internet when we were growing up. So for at least like a initial part of, like, I'm going to say at least till the age of 7 or 8, our only form of internet was in one corner of our house. So I guess it was just fun because we managed to go out and at all times and not really worry about, there were menace and threats to society, but I guess it wasn't spoken of too much.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
constantly
wasn't constantly
in the palm
blasted
of
in
your
your
hand. Yeah.
face, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Then I really couldn't complain.
So, did you know you always wanted to study abroad, or was that something that was a trend?
No, no, it wasn't. In fact, it was the opposite of the trend. I had no intentions of coming abroad, and I
Okay.
had no. Uh, I really had no reasons because I was quite, uh, I would say, content or satisfied being where I was.
Hmm.
And I guess that irked my dad, and he said, "No, you're too content. We need to send you out of this." I thought he'll be sending me, interstate or within this, probably to another part of India itself. I didn't realize he would want me to leave the country, but yeah.
So, was Canada always like a contender, or did you look at other places?
My dad was quite practical in his thought process. He said, because he worked in US for quite some time, and he thought, and he had to come back to India because he couldn't get his green card,
Mm.
and so he just figured, your primary reason when you go abroad is to get your green card. And we were looking at two options, which is Australia and Canada. And I have an uncle in Canada, so he just said,
Come to
apply and
Canada.
then see what happens.
Nice. Were you excited?
If to be completely honest with you, no, I wasn't excited. I was just excited because I was going to leave my home, but I wasn't excited because it was Canada.
Mm.
Were you excited when you wanted to move to Canada?
Yeah, I was ready to leave. I mean, I've spoken about this in other episodes as well, but my experience in India was very different because I didn't grow up there. So for you liked India because, or you were content in India because you grew up there and you were used to that environment. But for me, it was a complete, um, I wouldn't say culture shock, but it was just like a very different lifestyle
Mm.
compared to what I was used to, say, in Zambia or in the UK. And so for me, moving to Canada was my ticket out of there. Nothing against India. I enjoyed my time in India, and whatever like couple of years I spent there, I have no major complaints. But I think I just never felt fully like myself um, while I was there, and so I needed to get out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Canada gave you that identity.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a gamble, but it helped that my sister was here. So she gave me an idea because we had very similar backgrounds. Grew up in Zambia, studied in India. She lived in Muscat for a bit, and then I lived in the UK, and then I moved back to India. And again, for me, my options were Australia and Canada as
Oh,
well. But somehow Canada worked out. I think
hmm.
for the mere reason that my sister was here, so coming closer to her made more sense than going like the opposite end of the continent. Um, Opposite end. The continent is
Other end.
round. Other end, I don't know. But yeah, what was, I guess, how did you feel when you first moved to Canada?
Oh, I did not like it one bit.
Did you move? So did you go straight to Ottawa, or were you like? Did you
No, I
spend
was
some
here
time in
for like
Toronto?
maybe 3 days, 3, 4 days, and then immediately moved to Ottawa. And then once I was in Ottawa, I was alone. Alone. In India, yeah, you get to be alone, but you're constantly surrounded with people. And I guess that's the beauty of it.
Mm,
And in Ottawa, you're alone,
yeah,
and the actual term privacy is the real definition, is the actual definition.
yeah.
And I did not like it one bit. But then over a period of time, once I got busy with studies and stuff like that, I started realizing the potential, and I realized what could be, and I realized the lifestyle that people are living here, and it was more of an experiment to see how it can be, as opposed to my comfort zones. Obviously, I wasn't mature enough to realize that. I was just really wanting to be anything but be alone. So
So you didn't like the privacy.
no.
Is that just because of your upbringing, or?
Yeah, I guess also in India, that you can say privacy in quotes, but in reality, you're constantly surrounded with people. You're constantly there's always something going on, and there's always like you're constantly in contact, and in the you're it's so busy. It's like you're never in, like, even if you go to a rural part of town, there's always something happening there. Whereas here, it really felt isolating for the first time.
Mm.
And again, that's just how it is here. For people, again, I don't know, I don't speak for everybody, this is my experience.
Of course.
But for the first time, for anybody to come here, and yeah.
Did you come during like an off season? When I say off season, I mean like, was it not summer? Was it like fall or winter?
I came right at the beginning of fall, actually.
Do you think that
End of
impacted
summer.
how you felt, or?
No, even if it was summer, because I didn't have my people, right? It was
Yeah.
just the first time. You're 18, you really don't have anything going for you. It's just, even though it's daunting, but it's literally the world at your feet.
Mm.
But again, it's like you're really, yeah, you can be brave and put up a brave front with your friends to say, yeah, man, I'm trying to see if I can make it, but deep down,
Did
you're
you do
just you're
that?
scared.
Did you
What's
do
that?
like were you like that with your
Yeah,
friends?
yeah. Because I mean, you don't want to show your true self with your friends, right?
Yeah. So you were in Ottawa for a year, and then you moved back to Toronto.
Yeah.
Why?
Uh, just thought, okay, maybe I was in university and then decided to do my diploma instead. And I didn't realize the how stressful, or rather how tough university could be in this part of, oh sorry, I shouldn't say that, in any part of town. And it was just a decision that we took as a family to say, why don't you do a diploma instead and see how that is, and then figure it out. And one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Did that
Because
help like with your isolation, or?
yeah, because then I was back with my family. It was my uncle gave me a place to stay for some time before I moved in with my cousin.
Mhm.
And yeah, from then on, I made friends in college, and then it's just the fact that I had my people around me was comforting enough for me to go and venture out, as you will. And actually, talking about it right now, it really makes me wonder for the people who actually came here with absolutely no support and
Hmm.
absolutely no,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
support
knowing
system,
no one and just
or
coming.
even
Yeah.
knowing with a hunch of, oh yeah, this is my father's friend's whatever,
Yeah.
cousin or whatever, and then you still go there with that and still make it. That's off to those people.
Yeah.
What
Did
about you?
you?
How was your first time?
My experience is very different from yours. It's like a stark contrast.
Okay,
So obviously, I when
then I
I
don't then I don't want to know about it.
I mean, like, I've spoken about it, but I crave that privacy, right? And for me, it was the opposite. When I was in India, I hated that I didn't have privacy. And like, if you come home late, like the neighbor will say something, or like the maid will say something, or like even my parents wouldn't care that I'm coming home late, but someone else would have something to say about it, or just like small things like that, or like if you're wearing something. These days, it doesn't happen. I think the clothes aspect has really improved. No one looks at how you're dressed or what you're wearing or anything. But this was, I'm talking like 10, 12, even maybe 15 years ago. So it was just that like privacy and that sense of like being myself and not being stared at, that I missed. So when I came to Canada, where everyone's just kind of like they're friendly, but there's no like judgment or staring or anything like that. And You get to kind
Wow.
of be to yourself and do your own thing, and that's the kind of person that I am. So yeah, for me it was a complete opposite, where I was like, I like this life, I like being isolated,
Right
I
off the
like,
bat, like when
yeah.
you first came, the first thing you
I mean,
thought
I
of.
stayed with my sister for 2-3 months,
Right.
but even then, after the third or fourth month, I was like, I need to move out. Not that they were like ever interfering in my life or anything, but you need your space, right? At the end of the day, and you moved when you were 18, so it's different. I moved when I was 25, 26.
So you pretty much you had a strong foothold, not a strong foothold, but like a
Yeah,
somewhat you were gaining that foothold of like what
what
you
I
like,
like
what
and
you
what I
didn't
don't
like.
like. Yeah. So I was at that phase in my life where I wanted to be an adult and live my life and not have to live it for others or have others question how I'm living and things like that. On that note, when you did first move here, was there any like culture shock moment that you had?
That's a good question. Was there any culture shock?
Or just like any, it doesn't have to be culture shock. It can also just be something that was just like whoa in a good way or whoa in a bad way.
As in how different the cultures were from here to back in India?
Yeah.
Oh man, the first time?
Yeah.
I guess the the first time that I felt that way was yeah. So when you I'm assuming you've studied in India, so you know what how it is.
Yeah.
So in India, you have like a army of people behind you, just making sure that you study and do well. And I'm not saying that as a like as if there are multiple people forcing you to study, but that just that there are resources available to you where you have your parents or whatever whoever is cooking for you, your clothes is set, and they even give you cash to go on the bus and all that kind of stuff. And even in college, people would the HODs or whatever the teachers would kind of force you to study, and almost like your attendance is like the main thing.
Yeah.
Here, surprisingly enough, or not surprisingly enough, no one cares.
That is true.
It's your life and you're paying the fees for it, and you better show up to class, and you better show up to all the extra classes, or rather make sure that you have all your homework and assignments done ahead of time,
Yeah.
as opposed to just showing up as if you're doing a favor.
Yeah.
So that was the huge culture shock, because when I went to my first class, which was chemistry, and I don't like chemistry, everybody already had like a pre-assignment quiz done, and I was literally just blinking and just looking around saying, what is this pre-assignment quiz? That really threw me off.
Mm. So you weren't familiar with like, because I remember it wasn't a similar situation for me in terms of culture shock, but I did notice the difference because when I studied in India, we had classes 9 to 5 every day, and then on Saturdays as well. And on top of that, you have assignments and attendance and all these things. And then I moved to the UK, and I had 3 classes a week. And like you said, it was up to us whether we want to attend those classes or not. And then I remember the first semester when I went to write exams, there were like so many people that I'd never seen in class. And I was just like, who are you? Why have I not seen you? And the classes are smaller, right? Like
Uh,
in India, it's like what, 100 people per
Whatever is
190 to
your
100. For like the main subjects, yes, you have like 90, 80, 90 people. But then like the electives, you have maybe like 10, 12 people, depending on the kind of elective you choose. And I remember one of the electives, we were like 5 people, but then in the exam, we were 20. And I was like, where were the other
what
15 people during these classes? Yeah, so that's an interesting observation. I never thought of it that way because
because you're so used to you know just showing up probably in the last minute,
yeah,
and then just being like, okay, this is probably gonna be worth like 40% or 50% of the whole grade. So I'm just gonna wing it, or not wing it, but like I'm gonna cram everything that I know in the last 2-3 weeks.
yeah,
Whereas here it's consistent efforts, and finals is that was the other shock to me. Finals was worth 25%.
same, yeah,
Midterms was worth 20, and then all your assignments throughout the year were worth 15.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so you have to make consistent effort,
Yeah.
and no one's going to spoon feed you. You're going to have friends, but even they have their own life and they have their own
Yeah. You're
stuff to deal
basically
with.
responsible for your own stuff. Whereas in India, you're responsible, but there are certain, like here, you're responsible for everything, not just your grades. You're
Yes.
also responsible for, your food, your laundry, your cleaning, your transportation, your everything. So,
Whereas you take it for granted in India because, again, everything is provided for you. Now, I'm not saying it's the case for everybody, but I'm sure
yeah, most, at
most
least
people,
most people who've immigrated, maybe.
yeah,
On
I
that
really sound
note,
privileged.
I mean, you don't realize it though until like you talk about it, right? Because
Yeah.
you talk about it with other people, and they might be like, "Oh no, we never had like we had to fold our own clothes and we had to like cook our own
What's
meals,"
this
and it's like,
experience
wow.
you're talking about in India? That's not my experience.
To be fair though, in Zambia we had to fold our own clothes.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, because our parents were like, "You're not that privileged to have someone fold your clothes for
I
you."
folded my own clothes
Yeah.
when I had punishment.
Yeah, we had to fold our clothes. We had to make our own beds. What else did we have to? We had to clean our own dishes.
Yeah. No, that was inculcated
Yeah.
in us too.
I think even cooking in the evenings, we had to help Amma. I think that was just something that our parents, more my mom, wanted us to kind of just have in us. Maybe because they always assumed that we would go abroad someday, knowing that we would want to settle down in India. I don't know. Preparing us exactly. But on that note, is there something that you often think about in India, or like you miss about India?
Wow, it's a really deep and thoughtful question.
Thanks, ChatGPT asked me to ask you.
That's what I thought. Is there something that I think
I'm
about?
joking, by the way.
Yeah,
ChatGPT
oh
did
yeah,
not ask
yeah,
me.
oh
I
yeah,
have ChatGPT
double
questions at the
quotes.
end.
Sorry, what was the question?
Is there something that you think about often or miss about India?
Is there something that I miss about India? Huh.
If you're thinking so much, there's nothing.
I do miss because there's a busy nature about it, right? Like for example, when you get up in the morning in India, the first thing that you need to do is probably have coffee and that kind of stuff. And when you go out, the world is already up and the world is
Yes.
already running.
That's because you live in a farm. Go live in downtown Toronto.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with people living in farms.
No, but you're from India and you chose to live on the farm. And you're saying, I miss the busy life.
No, but like the it's when you're up, everybody's up and everybody's like running for something. Here, here, and you're up, and yeah, you're right. If we were in,
Or the subway.
I do strangely feel I'm close to India when I'm in any Tim Hortons lineup.
Oh my God.
But
No, but like when I do take the GO train is fine, but when I take the subway, I really do feel like I'm back in India. Not because like it's very diverse, but it's just so crowded. Like especially, thankfully, I don't get off at the financial district because the financial district is crowded.
mhm.
Like it goes to a point. I remember one of the days I took a train, the subway, and we stopped at King Station is where the financial district people get off, Union or King. And so King Station, the previous train's crowd was still like getting off the platform. So they were, like the door opened and it was just like a swarm of people just waiting, and
Yeah,
the train couldn't move because they were waiting for the crowd to like clear. It
right.
took us like 5 minutes to leave, which never happens.
I miss the noise
Hmm.
because there's always some background noise that's happening in India.
Yeah.
Here, when there is silence, there is actual silence. There, unless you're living in, even in if you're living in Toronto, it's not that. But here, when there is silence, there's absolute silence, which is good and bad. For me, it's particularly initially it was bad, and then over time, I started getting used to it.
But you still miss it even after 10,
Yeah,
13 years?
yeah. Because you used to it. Like for the first 18 years of my life, that's all I heard.
Yeah.
And now, not so much. It's you get used to it. But when you go back, you have that, whatever you want to call it, back.
So, how, where is home for you now?
Wherever you are.
Aww. Hey, that's a very good way of saying home is where, sorry, home is people, not. It is. It is. I agree. Is yeah. Home where your people are.
Yeah.
Let me change that question. How has your perspective of home changed?
How has my
Or has it changed?
wow, this I've never seen this side. No. Okay, but I'm sorry. How has my
What do you mean you never
perspective?
seen the side?
I'm talking to the audience. Please. Sorry. How has this? How has home? How has the perspective of
Yeah, like
home
the
changed?
concept of home. Because I guess like up
Oh,
until a certain while ago, maybe till you got your PR or till you got your, I don't know if people can know, but you're a citizen. So till you got your citizenship, I'm sure it was always at the back of your mind to go back to India.
mhm.
So when did that change? Why did it change? And did it change your thoughts on where home, like what or where home is?
To be really honest with you, I associated home with wherever I felt safest and most vulnerable. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I did not feel that way when I moved to Canada, because where you feel safest, at least when you're a kid, you feel safest with your parents.
Yeah.
And the quote unquote friends, I shouldn't say that, the friends that you grew up with, or
Yeah.
that you kind of spoke your heart out with. And when you're in Canada, or rather anywhere in the world, you try to fit in,
Yeah.
and you try to kind of almost become a chameleon in a way, to try and match your surroundings. Like, one of the things that I didn't get and still don't get is there is a casual racism that sometimes gets passed on, and you think, I guess I can laugh it off, as opposed to just, actually having some conversation about it. But you're trying to fit in, and you're trying to, you know, not, I don't
So
know
you
what
just
that is.
brush it off.
You brush it off,
Yeah.
but then deep down, you know that that's not cool.
Yeah.
That something like that won't exist from where you're from.
But that casual racism is there in India also. They're everywhere. In fact, it's more blatant.
I don't. Yeah, but it's different when it comes to your own people, I guess, and it's different when it comes from someone that's
different for us because we felt that casual racism there. Yeah. It'll be like you're so dark
where
in India.
in India.
Yeah. Like when a girl is dark skinned, or not just a girl, even a guy. I'm talking more of like North India, South India. That too. And like this general, oh, you're foreign, like NRI. NRI, yeah. We used to get a lot of NRI hate. I remember that. I mean, you more than me.
I guess it is. I guess it's different for different people, and I'm not taking away your experience. It's your experience, but I guess I just felt like it was more accepting from my people. And again, the fact that I'm saying my people itself is, you can understand why I'm forgiving. Whereas if it was somebody from here who I don't really know you, or I have no history about you, I don't think it's allowed for that person to treat you that way. It's not allowed for you to be treated that same way back in India too, where they comment about it. But for some reason, I don't even want to call it welcoming. It's almost like you expect it.
But that doesn't make it right.
I don't know. I'm not, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not right, but it's somewhat more hurtful when it comes from someone who is not of the same origin or background. But sorry to sidetrack, but yeah, so I never felt that here. And then after a while, you slowly start to get back to that once you become, or once I started becoming mature in my late 20s. Then you start realizing, you know what, I'm sick and tired of trying to fit in and trying to be a part of the Canadian, or I shouldn't say that, just the foreign group.
But it didn't when you were born to stand up.
Wow,
Yes.
should be in a coaster. But then you start to think, then you start to make everything your home, regardless of where you are. So I guess my definition changed when I started accepting myself.
Mhm.
And then from that point on, like, regardless of where I was, I just still felt home. And around that time, I met you, so kind
There
of
you go.
matched.
Come, we'll go live in a hut.
Sure, as long as the plumbing is okay.
In all this,
Wait, wait, what is your definition of how has it changed? Home.
I don't know. I think like over time it became like home is where my people are, and obviously you're my people and other people, but you're the people, like multiple people in one.
Sound I sound like I have split personality. I don't have split personality.
You do, okay? Sometimes.
Hi, my name is Josh. Nice to meet.
Welcome back to
In another episode of Split Personality.
but yeah, I think it's where your people are and where your comfort is, and that comes, like you said, from your
When did it
self-awareness.
happen for you?
When I moved into my own place here, I think once I started becoming comfortable being with myself. Actually, that's not true. When I was living alone in the UK, I think that's when it happened. Because that's when I was alone. Like, yes, I had housemates, but I still had to do my own stuff. I still had to do my own cooking, my own cleaning, my own grocery shopping, and then on top of that, keep track of your studies and budgeting, thanks to Appa. And so in all that, you kind of discover what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy and who you are. And then obviously that time you're a little younger, so you think your friends are like the people to be with. And then obviously in my masters, I had a little more alone time, and that's when I discovered that as long as I'm comfortable with myself, I can live wherever. That's why I think my experience in India when I went back to work was also better, because at that time I was more accepting of who I am, and also it was, I guess, work and college are also different experiences.
Right.
The people are a lot more accepting or welcoming. Not that my college friends weren't, but there was always like that NRI tag that came with it, or actually even it wasn't even the friends, it was more just the college itself, like the rules and stuff. But overall, yeah, I think it's just that once I became comfortable with my own company, that's when I realized that home is where I'm comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah.
After this short break, we'll be right back. Is that you take breaks?
No. Are we
You don't
supposed
take.
to?
I'm assuming you.
This is not live TV where you have ads running after this.
MD.
Diamond
MDH.
biscuit, diamond biscuit. Oh my gosh, we should get them to sponsor us. So in all this moving, I mean, it's between India and Canada, but that's two extremes. Did you ever feel like you were in between cultures?
I ever feel like I was in between cultures? Wow. Yes. When I yes, and I think it's a yes for everyone in this room. It's when you start changing your accent to meet somebody else, make you understand you better. When the reality of it is regardless of how you talk, you shouldn't have to change for somebody. But it is a lot less hassle when the other person can understand you. So I understand why people do it. I do it too. And that's when I started to feel like maybe why is it's like an in between portion.
I mean, I was thinking more like for me, it wasn't a in between cultures, but it was more like it was so casual here was the consumption of weed.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's only when they legalized it.
No, even before.
I mean, I guess, yeah, you're right.
Like even in the UK, it was there, but it wasn't as um, open. But here, it was so casual that like how when you're younger, you hide and drink from your parents. Here, like people were hiding and having weed. Was there anything like that? Any such moment? Or even just like with, no? So mainly just the accents.
Where I was in between two cultures. No, personally, no. I only thought it was just that.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you've decided that you want to make it in this country, you will do whatever it takes for you to make it in this country. So if at that point when I was struggling quite a bit, if I had to learn a different language, I probably would have.
Mm.
And it was my fault too, because I don't, because when you're young, you kind of take your culture for granted because you always assume that it's going to be there.
Mm.
And it is, but you also need to make the effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, when that struggling period happens, you really try to fit in
Yeah.
and make it as much as possible, so you don't. So there's absolutely no question in your mind.
Yeah.
And then after a while, once you go back quite often, or once you kind of score, like maybe settle down, and then you start realizing, oh no, you know what? Maybe I need to start learning about my own people and my own history.
Was there a moment you felt like you belonged in Canada? Like where you were just, it was like a, oh, like this is, I belong here now.
Moment where I felt that I belonged in Canada. Wow.
Why? Why is your reaction to every question like, wow?
And you don't normally ask these questions.
Yeah, because we're married. I'm not your podcast wife.
Wow, wow.
Moment
Can
where
you
I
imagine
felt,
if our whole marriage was like this? So when did you feel like you belonged in this house?
we'll
Like,
be right back after this short commercial break. Uh, when is a moment where, can you give me an answer? Because that's a very good question. And then I'll answer based on your answer.
um,
When the moment that I felt like I belonged to Canada.
I think for me it was from the get go, right? Because I came, not get go, maybe like when 2, 3 months into my job,
Mm-hmm.
because I was living alone. I was waking up early, doing my thing, going to work, meeting people at work, coming back, cooking. It was just like a moment of like, oh, this is like where I belong. This is home.
You know what is strange? I felt okay. So the second or third time that I went back, or maybe after a while when I went back, I was at a mall in India, a very famous mall in Bangalore, and then I held the door for someone behind me, and I let that person go, and then another person went,
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's never ending old.
and then there was a bit of a gap, and then I left the door, and then in that moment, I felt okay. So, and my friends made it very evident that I belonged in. And
Canada.
in personally too, I felt like, okay, so there's this kind of niceness or this kindness that kindness is the wrong
Kindness.
term.
Because you were not kind before.
I
Vignesh.
wasn't. I just
You were just an
just
asshole.
just a. But yeah, that is the time when I'm like, okay, so I guess I have developed this also saying sorry and thank you quite a
Sorry.
bit.
That's how I used to say it at work.
Sorry.
So I'm so sorry.
Sorry. And yeah, that's when I felt okay. I guess even though I didn't think of it, Canada just just I just happened to be Canadian at that moment.
Wow. So it's funny. So it happened
In
when you
India.
weren't in Canada.
Exactly.
You moved around. I mean, not so you just moved from Ottawa to Toronto, and that's it, right? You haven't moved anywhere else. You've moved a couple of colleges,
Yeah.
few workplaces.
Yeah. The usual trajectory of any immigrant
Hmm.
child
Ha- Immigrant child.
person.
Has any of that affected your experience as an immigrant? Like, walk us through basically your, I guess, career slash educational journey as an immigrant.
I had jobs, odd jobs that I could kind of find just so that I can survive.
And this is while you were a student?
while I was a student. And my uncle was kind enough to support me when during the times when we didn't have money. I'll never forget those moments when you have your family literally buy you stuff because you can't afford it. That really humbles a person. That again, even that is such a new experience for me because in India, again, everything is there.
Yeah.
I really sound privileged,
Yeah.
right? I didn't realize such
I woke
a
up,
privileged life
there was
I
a
had.
bath of water. The slippers were
You-
put
have you
there
seen
before.
you've seen Coming to America?
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy when he
yeah.
when he walks.
That's how you were in
That's
India.
exactly how I lived in India. In a farm that was built for me. But no, that really took me by surprise when you can't afford rice, and rice is such a staple from where we are from, and it's like, okay, one, is this really worth it? And then later on you realize yes, it is worth it. But aside from that, there were like, there's almost like a farmer's humor involved, right? Like, for example, if a crop dies, then half the family is starving for almost a month and a half.
Yeah.
And you develop this kind of humor within yourself just to, because if you don't uh, laugh about it, then you can't, then you don't move on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That, and also the bonding that you get from the shared discomfort with your cousins and friends, and it, I wouldn't trade it for anything because it did make me who I am today. But yeah, just the usual, just going to college and really struggling. And one more thing I will say though is, when your work permit is about to end, there is no amount of fear that can push you to do things, because if it ends and if you don't have a job in hand, you're going back.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong in going back, but you're here to prove a point to yourself, to your family, and to make them proud, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of pushes you to have a job in hand and make it. And yeah, so that was, I would say, that kind of pushed all of us who came from India and did this diploma. And it kind of, I would say, almost 90% of us got a job even before we graduated.
Nice.
And that, I really felt proud of that. And ever since then, all of us have been doing like well for ourselves. Each one we have our own like trajectory in our professional careers. And but yeah, it's been like a up and down journey, and a lot of ups more than downs.
How has your identity evolved um, now that you're a Canadian citizen who was raised in India?
How has my identity involved? You can answer that. Like, has my identity changed ever since I became a Canadian citizen?
Yeah.
Really?
You're a lot more, you're still in tune with your Indian tradition, not traditions, like Indian culture, customs.
Customs.
Nice. Now that
I
you're
often think about my customs when I'm having chai
and coffee.
and coffee.
Specifically filter coffee.
Yeah.
I do think you prefer a certain lifestyle now. But I don't know if that's necessarily because you've become a Canadian citizen or because you married someone who has, what's the word? Who's high maintenance. Yeah, I don't know. So you tell me.
Has my identity changed since I became a?
I wouldn't say change. Change makes it sound like it changed for the worse, but more like
It's
some
evolved.
evolved, yeah, like improved, or a new part of you that you discovered, that it could also have just come with age or with
Yeah. Maturity.
experience. Yeah.
Although you would disagree with that, but maturity. But yeah, I don't. Problem is, I don't think about these things a lot, so I don't really have an answer for that. But I think you should, right? Like, I think every year you kind of, because if you stay the same, then you're not moving forward, or you're not moving in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
So I think just with time, whether you're in India, Canada, regardless of where I think your identity stays the same.
Yeah.
Maybe your lifestyle might get accustomed to certain comforts that you're not used to. But no, I don't think my identity has changed quite a bit.
Okay.
That's, yeah, my opinion.
Is there any tradition or any tradition or custom that you've held on to from India that you continue to do or from your childhood?
Yes. So my dad was the one who told me when you get up in the morning, you have a glass of water. And I don't know if that's like it's an Indian thing or if it's a dad thing, or I don't know if he wanted me to drink water when I got up, but that particular thing has stayed with me through and through.
And what's a Canadian mindset you've embraced?
Wow, Canadian mindset that I've embraced. I guess the Canadian mindset that I've embraced is to not be an asshole when things are not going your way, and just to accept things as they are and kind of try and find a solution and just
Yeah, very solution oriented.
just move on as you don't be in the way of somebody. Just let them do their thing, and you either hold the door or you don't.
And is there something that I like that, don't hold the door or
You butchered it now, but
don't,
it's
sorry,
fine.
hold the door
okay.
or don't.
Okay, it's fine.
Because my thoughts went ahead before I could grasp what you said.
Of course.
I had a cousin Vignesh moment.
Call back.
Is there something that you've observed in the way that I, as someone who's lived in so like 2-3 different cultures, is there something that you observed or admired or thought like, oh, that's cool, in terms of thought process or
About
the
you?
third culture experience? Yeah.
What I've admired about you?
Or just found like interesting in terms of like a third culture experience, something that you never thought like a third culture kid could go through.
I guess your experience in India, that I never thought of it from your point of view, obviously, because it's unique to you. And I deeply appreciated you for it, and I deeply appreciated your parents for the kind of upbringing that they have done to both you daughters. I'm sorry.
She looks so like, what are you saying?
No, it's really quite fascinating because one thing that your dad did mention, which I have to say in this, is because I think we were talking about something, and then he goes, we never forced our children to do anything. We just would guide them. It's up to them to kind of figure out their own path, but we would never,
Yeah.
or at least we try to never force. Whereas again, unfortunately, you kind of come from a community where everybody is either forced into a path of education or a path of field or whatever, right? So I guess that is something that I really appreciated. Like, you guys had your own path, however unconventional or conventional it was.
We had our own challenges too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, the question was, what did you find cool?
That's true.
I found that to be cool.
Nice. Do you have any like advice for any new immigrants, specifically students moving to Canada from India or anywhere? Yeah.
I would just say give it some time, and what things you can't control in terms of social, economic, political, you can't control. So keeping a track of things and is not going to help. What you can control is what you should be focusing on, and everyone will make it. It's just a matter of time. So give it time.
Yes, and do your assignments.
Rascal. Is that okay?
Nice. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up. But before we do, I have a fun game, not sponsored, sorry, made by ChatGPT.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
It's not sponsored. I should like highlight that.
Thank you, Sam.
It called it Fun Segment This or That Immigration Edition.
Oh God.
Wow.
Uh huh.
Okay. No thinking. Okay, it's like coffee with current, like rapid fire.
Coffee with Anu.
Yeah. So Jaguar turned on the lights, whatever he says. Whatever that thing is that he says.
Jaguar lights. Come on.
Okay.
Thank you, Jaguar.
Tim's or filter coffee?
Tim's. Oh.
What? I did not expect
That
that.
was so unexpected. That makes you, my friend, a
Canadian.
Ask me that question again.
No.
And then I'll be like, oh, the time when I was on a podcast. When that fun round.
Your mom is going to watch this.
I know. I'm sorry.
Driving in India or Canada?
Riding in India, driving in Canada.
Nice. Indian wedding or Canadian wedding?
Indian wedding.
Summer in Bangalore or fall in Toronto?
Fall in Toronto.
I actually kind of agree with that too.
Beautiful.
Living in one place forever or living in 3 countries over a lifetime?
Living in 3 countries over a lifetime.
Cultural identity, fluid or fixed?
Fixed.
More Canadian now or still Indian?
So clearly, from the first question,
More Canadian.
I'm more Canadian.
English or Tamil movies?
Oh,
Ooh, that's
man.
difficult.
This is my question, by the way.
English movies.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with one final question, which is not a this or that. This is kind of a question.
Can I ask you a question after this?
Sure, you want to ask me? You want to ask me before we wrap it up?
Sure.
You want to ask me the rapid fire?
What made you start this podcast?
I feel like when I moved to Canada, it was peak immigration. There were a lot of people who moved at that time. This was 2017, 2018. And through chance, I met like a few of these people, and now we're friends, and we all had very similar experiences. Obviously, most of them still grew up in India and then they moved to this part of the world, but that doesn't mean that their experience was any different. They also faced, casual racism and stereotypes, and then this feeling of like guilt when you prefer the lifestyle here over the lifestyle that you grew up with, and that pressure to do well because your parents spent money on you and all of that. And I felt like the kind of media that you see online in terms of podcasts, YouTube channels, or even books for that matter, a lot of them talk only about the Western experience. There's very little about the third culture or the Indian kid being lost experience. And I
guess there
just
is a lot of movies where the child is born here from Indian parents, and then they talk about their lives more than
yeah.
people who actually come here and make it.
Yeah, and so I wanted a platform where I could share as many stories as possible. It could be that you grew up outside India, it could be that you grew up in India and moved here as an adult, or it could be that you lived here and then you moved back to India. Any kind of experience to do with um, third culture experiences and immigration, because like you said, it's lonely when you
Yeah.
move to a new country, and we want to break that, and we want to give a platform for people to, I wouldn't look at it necessarily as like venting, but that could be one one aspect of it, but just share their journeys. And I think it helps people who are moving here or who are going through a similar experience to feel like they're not alone, and then hopefully leave comments and then make friends and start a small community.
Well, I think what you guys are doing is fantastic, and I hope it only grows and becomes more successful.
Thanks. All right, so I'll wrap it up. It's a pretty deep question. So, or so I think, because even I don't know what I would say. But if you could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self who moved here on the day that he moved, what would you say to him?
So there'll be a podcast, and one person will ask you if it is Tim's or filter coffee. You better say filter coffee, you rascal. But jokes aside, I know you're going through quite a lot of turmoil, but trust me, this is one of the best decisions you could have ever made, and Yeah.
Well, thank you for being a part of the podcast
Thank you
after
for
a
having me.
lot of probing and poking and please, please, please cover the podcast, please. Finally, you did it. No, I'm joking. He was very much wanting to be a part of this. And for those of you who don't know, whatever episodes you're watching where Vignesh is not there, he's always behind the camera. So if you hear a voice behind, today we have Lakshmi behind the camera. But if you hear a voice usually behind the camera when we're shooting other episodes, he's our production guy. So thank you for being a part of the podcast from the beginning and for sharing your immigration and third culture experiences with us. And I hope you get to have some Tim's coffee tomorrow. I just want to say let's go get Tim.
Thank you so much
Thank
for having me.
you.
And thank you, Lakshmi, for producing this segment, this episode. And
Yeah.
please continue to do more great work.
Thank you. And for those of you listening or watching, please make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Please make sure that you are following us on Spotify. And definitely make sure you're following us on Instagram at chai, coffee, and customs underscore pod. It's where we it's where we share all of the behind the scenes, all of the upcoming episodes, and a lot of fun stuff that you don't get to see on the actual YouTube and Spotify channels. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.